right, guys, welcome back to another video. Lots to talk about today, lots of news to go over. But before we do jump into it, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you do enjoy daily gaming news content to keep you updated on everything in the industry. And also check out the link to my Spotify in the description. But we're going to start off here and we are going to talk about Forza Horizon 4, a game we've been talking about for the last week or so because the game is being delisted. It was announced that due to licensing issues and obviously having to upkeep those for an older version of Forza Horizon is not something that Xbox is going to want to continue to pay for with Forza Horizon 5 out and presumably Forza Horizon 6 on the horizon, no pun intended there. But it is going to be one of those games that does go offline, and once it's offline, you're not going to be able to purchase it anymore. You're still going to be able to play it, which is the positive side of things. But Xbox is going above and beyond here to make sure that everybody who wants to play Forza Horizon 4 after it does come down, it will still be able to play it. So it says here that Forza Horizon 4, developed by Playground Games and published by Xbox Game Studios, is being removed from Xbox Game Pass and delisted from storefronts. And this is the end of life for the game. There was one more update that I believe came out, and that is the end of it. And now Xbox is taking into their own hands for people who have actually played the game via Xbox Game Pass to make sure that after the game is delisted, they will still be able to play it, as they have begun issuing copies of Forza Horizon 4 to players who purchase DLC for the game but access the base game via Xbox Game Pass. So obviously you could go out there, wouldn't have to buy the entire thing. You just want to spend money on the DLC that you do want, but you could have still gone out and played the game itself on Xbox Game Pass. If you were one of those customers, you are actually now getting a full version of the game. So once the store does come off of the service and once it does come offline, you are going to be able to still play the game. There are people getting messages that Xbox had actually sent to them saying that they can still play it once it does get delisted. It says Xbox messages have begun going out to Xbox Game Pass subscribers who have purchased DLC with a free copy of Forza Horizon 4 Digital Standard Edition to keep. Users must have fully paid, not discounted, Xbox Game Pass subscription as of June 25th. So check your Game Pass, check your Xbox messages. If you're one of these customers who fits into this category, you are going to have a full copy here of Forza Horizon 4 in your inbox with a code to go ahead and download it. So again, of course, you can still be able to play it. I think it's a nice move. It's a good gesture because this is kind of the future of digital games, especially games as a service and multiplayer games. Something we talk about a lot on here is what is going to happen when games do come offline. Are you ever going to be able to actually purchase them again any way if there's no physical version of it? Are you actually going to still be able to play these games? Because some of these games that do get delisted, you can't play anymore if they don't upkeep the servers. And in Forza Horizon 4, luckily they are doing that. So it's good to see a step in a direction where they are still going to allow players who want to keep playing it, play it, even if they can't go ahead and buy it from the digital storefront. So cool thing there from Xbox. Happy that they are doing that. And hopefully this is kind of the precedent that is being set here when these older Forza games do start getting listed. When Forza Horizon 5 eventually gets delisted, hopefully this will be the same course of action that takes place. Now jumping over here to the continue expansion of Game Pass and the continue way to access games. It's pretty crazy how you can play Xbox anywhere, and it's a good thing in my opinion for gaming, for gamers, giving easier access, cheaper access to a large catalog of video games. We literally just saw the Amazon Fire Stick announcement where you can now get Xbox Game Pass on that. For some reason, some people are trying to turn that into a negative. Not really sure why. I guess if you only care about the plastic box itself, you can look at it negatively that way, but Xbox is still supporting the console and they're going to continue to support the console going into the next generation. To me, it's just opening up the access to Game Pass, which will eventually lead to more games coming over to the service as more people sign up for it. But we have another thing here, which will be very interesting, and that is direct NVIDIA GeForce Now integration into Xbox. They could be getting it. It's not confirmed here, but we are seeing screenshots show up here of games in Xbox saying that you can actually play them via NVIDIA GeForce Now. And here are some of the screenshots themselves. You can see you have Street Fighter 6. It says there's the green Xbox button, and one of the options to play it is via NVIDIA GeForce Now. Same with Resident Evil Village, and then you have Call of Duty Warzone, all with the NVIDIA GeForce Now integration it's seemingly in Xbox. It says NVIDIA GeForce now integrated into Xbox. It seems that a bigger deal is lurking between Xbox and NVIDIA, and its announcement may be imminent. Several games from Xbox Store give the option to play it with GeForce Now. And as we know, with the entire cloud-based gaming thing, when they did purchase ABK, that really came under scrutiny, where they had to make promises that games would still be available on other cloud streaming platforms. They had to give rights to Ubisoft to actually give those games out to these different streaming platforms. So maybe this is a part of that, where they're making sure that you can still play these Xbox games via the GeForce Now service, but at the same time, you have a game like Street Fighter there, which would be this is not a first-party Xbox game that is also getting potentially that treatment of being within that service. So who knows what is happening here? I think this is going to be really cool if they are going to start integrating everything into one spot, where Xbox is the place you play all of your games wherever you've kind of purchased it. Or if you want to play it, if you have an NVIDIA GeForce Now subscription, you have the Microsoft or Xbox version of the game, you can actually still go play it via NVIDIA GeForce Now. I think that would be a very, very cool thing, and people would definitely be on board with that. And it's the continued expansion. Like if we were thinking about the next gen hardware, thinking about a handheld, one of the things people really want from that is Steam integration. If you can get an Xbox handheld where you get all your Xbox library, you can also play Steam, it is going to be a game changer here going forward when comparing it to PlayStation and Nintendo. It's going to be a huge game changer there for Xbox, in my opinion. All right, let's jump over here to a very good, nice success story to see here in gaming from a small indie dev who made the Hypercharge Unboxed game, which is that multiplayer game where you play as toys in a toy store. There's a massive marketing campaign. I have to say they did a great job marketing this game, but we haven't seen it have as much success on other platforms as we are seeing it here on Xbox. And it says here the Hypercharge Unboxed sells 100,000 copies on Xbox, and it is only getting started. So we were talking, it was at like 50,000, 60,000, and people thought that was pretty impressive just for this small indie game. And now it is at 100,000 copies, and it's actually being showcased on the front of the Xbox store. If you go there to where you purchase your games and stuff, you'll see a little ad there for Hypercharged Unboxed, or maybe even it's in the dashboard. I saw them put out a tweet being excited about that. But it says, speaking to Xbox Wire, Hypercharged Unboxed creative gameplay and marketing director Joe Henson shares that they're overwhelmed with emotions about the response to the game on Xbox. It feels almost surreal, like living in a dream. Sometimes I wake up and wonder if it's real. So pretty cool there. It does show here that gamers on Xbox are going to be supporting these games. If they put them out there on the platform, people will buy them. If they're fun, if they're good, if they're interesting. This one seems to be that, as the amount of people picking it up and playing is steadily increasing. Now, another game that has just been absolutely insane here in terms of the player base, and as we know right now, it is only on PC and Xbox, and that game is PalWorld. And we were talking about this yesterday with Helldivers 2 as a games as a service multiplayer game, and how 90% of the players have fallen off, and it's really hard to keep people engaged unless you have continuous content. One of those games that is going against the grain here for these new live service game multiplayer games is PalWorld. Also a game you can play completely single player, but it is continuing to grow with player count soaring 700% following a new update, and really showing how important bringing steady updates to a game is. So it says, using Steam as a representative example, we can confirm the PalWorld's player count skyrocketed by more than 700%. It went from a peak concurrent count of around 15,000 users before the update to a peak of more than 130,000 users once the update had dropped. So that's huge for PalWorld. It does mean that they need to work fast and furiously here to continue to bring new updates and new content, because that will bring the people in by the boatloads of gamers that want to jump in and play the new stuff. I mean, it is a smaller developer who is making this game, so it does take longer. It isn't as easy as a big AAA developer to continuously put out content that will get people interested in jumping back into the game itself. But with all the money they've made off of this game, that's obviously going to be their focus, which is just trying to get more content out there on a more timely basis, more updates, so they can keep those player counts high, because that's a huge boost here, 700% following an update. And I'm sure once people have experienced all they want to experience with this update, if there's no new content, they will drop off again until the next one does come out. So I thought that was a pretty interesting thing to see there. We will jump over here. Let's talk about Starfield, because we know the mods are coming, we know the mods are here. We've seen some really cool ones like the lightsaber mod, lots of Star Wars stuff, and these mods are actually available on console. But one of the things with Starfield is all of the planets that are there. And that when they first announced this game, the first thing that came to my mind when they were talking about 1,000 planets was, how cool is it going to be when the modding community can take a planet and create an entire world on that planet that is essentially its own game? And it looks like we are getting there. We're moving in that direction, which to me is very exciting for the prospect of how big and how long Starfield is going to last into the future. So it looks like Project Tamriel is going to be a mod aiming to bring the Elder Scrolls to Starfield, like the entire game onto a planet on Starfield. Just another place for the Elder Scrolls, which, I mean, it would be an awesome thing to see. It says Starfield mods are going absolutely wild at the moment. We've seen the Star Wars skins, lightsabers, and huge performance improvements arrive via the game's new mod tools already. And a newly announced creation kit project is aiming to take things to the next level. And by the next level, we mean integrating 3 Elder Scrolls worlds into one Starfield planet. That's nuts to me to think about what they want to do. Now, it's obviously yet to be foreseen if they will be able to do it or if they'll be able to achieve their goal, which I really hope they will. But they say a team of modders are dedicated to reimagining Tamriel with a unique Starfield twist, seamlessly bringing Skyrim, Oblivion, and Morrowind into Starfield, which sounds absolutely insane if they can pull it off. This is exactly what their pitch is. Project Tamriel is an ambitious and groundbreaking modding endeavor that aims to bring the entirety of Tamriel from the Elder Scrolls series into the expansive universe of Starfield. This project will seamlessly integrate Skyrim, Oblivion, and Morrowind into Starfield, creating a unified and immersive experience on a single distant planet. By including iconic items, detailed maps, and beloved quests from these classic games, we are dedicated to reimagining Tamriel with a unique Starfield twist. Imagine traversing the breathtaking landscapes of Skyrim, exploring the mystical realms of Morrowind, and experiencing the grandeur of Oblivion, all within the advanced immersive environment of Starfield. Our vision is to create a cohesive and richly detailed world where fans can rediscover their favorite Elder Scrolls locations and adventures, now with a Starfield twist of perspective. Super cool. And will we see more of the stuff with like the Fallout universe? Like, it would be cool to see how these mods really take on the ability to kind of do whichever you want on one of these planets out in the Starfield universe. So excited to see how this one does unfold and if they can actually meet their goals. Now, there is a game that has not landed on Xbox yet that is a very popular game, won awards, and that is Neon White. And it looks like it finally will be coming over, as the game has been out since 2022 on PlayStation, the PC, and the Switch, but obviously it has not been out on Xbox, and it looks like that may be changing relatively soon. Hopefully it's an announcement we get. Maybe it's a Game Pass announcement, because Neon White achievements are actually now showing up on Xbox, which would signal here that the game is coming over to the service. There's 44 achievements with 1,000 gamer score for those who want to hunt those out. So I'm pretty excited. I've always wanted to play this game. I haven't played it yet, and we will see when or if this game does make its way out on to Xbox. Okay, let's jump over here just for a couple more things. There are some layoffs happening. Ubisoft is having layoffs at the company. Again, it's a kind of a continuation of what is happening here in the industry, of course. But Ubisoft Toronto has decided to conduct a targeted realignment to ensure it can deliver on its ambitious roadmap. This is what Ubisoft is commenting on this, saying, unfortunately, this will impact the role of 33 team members who will be leaving Ubisoft. We are committed to providing comprehensive support to them, including severance and career assistance to help through this transition. And Ubisoft Toronto, who was actually just brought in to work on the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake, is interesting because we're still kind of, I mean, we saw that it's coming out in 2026. We haven't seen gameplay. It's still somewhat up in the air as to like how far along this game is and how successful the development is going. But now they're laying off employees who are actually gone to work on that game. So maybe that brings in some more questions on it, but just more layoffs hitting Ubisoft. And again, we're going to see more of this all year. And finally, this one's kind of interesting. Sony is cutting around 250 jobs. Now, this isn't directly related to PlayStation, but it could be, there could be some hits here in terms of how PlayStation distributes their media and how they perceive going forward what their consoles will have, whether they will have a disc drive or not, because this 250 staff is being cut from the recordable media business division, which would impact things like the Blu-rays, which are the discs that are played within PlayStation consoles. So it says, a new report claims that Sony is gearing up to cut around 250 staff members from the tech conglomerate Recordable Media business division. While these alleged layoffs aren't necessarily related to PlayStation, they could indirectly impact the trajectory of Sony's gaming division in the long term, possibly leading to a future with many hardcore gamers may not like. And that future would be no physical games or no physical disc drive on upcoming PlayStations. Now, that is something I think people are pretty much preparing for going forward into the next generation, definitely the generation beyond that. I don't know how many people are actually going to be sad about it. I mean, I'm somebody who would be, because I still like my physical media, but we've seen the numbers and how people purchase their games, and overwhelmingly, the majority of people buy all of their games digitally, and Sony's probably looking at that and seeing the way that technology is going, the way that the future is going, the way that the consoles are going, and if they can slowly cut out that disc drive and make sure that everyone is just buying games digitally through the PSN, they are going to take those steps to make sure that that does happen. And these are kind of those signs trickling out. So will the next PlayStation, the PlayStation 6, will it have a disc drive? Or are they just going to make sure that they have a detachable disc drive like they currently have on the PS5 Slim to give people that option who still want it, but then produce far less actual physical games to be supported on the PlayStation 6 and beyond? I could definitely see that happening. My big thing here is I don't think it is a good thing going forward unless we see drastic price decreases in these games. And I don't think we will with just digital versions of games, because as gamers, we have already told these companies we are willing to pay $70 for a game digitally. With the insane sales that we see every year of games like Madden and Call of Duty and FIFA, people are paying those premium prices for yearly releases. What makes you think that these companies don't look at that and realize that they don't have to actually cut the prices of their games if they only have digital versions, when they aren't spending the money on actually producing the physical part of it, and those costs aren't added into the development of these games? So I don't see anything changing, which is why I think physical will always be a good thing. You can buy it, even if you're paying the $70, that you can go trade it, get some money back, all of that type of stuff, depending on how you choose to consume and purchase your media. But I'm going to end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.